Hey everybody, it's Triple G. I'm gonna run King Ratsar about 10 times. I am doing this in-game, so this is not pre-recorded. Just curious to see what the drops are, so for those who are new, this would be the spot right here. So yeah, let's run this on hard mode, and we'll see what happens. I'm not using any food or just any of the, I think it's the whetstone or the sharpstone buffs for the physical mastery. So I'm just using the default elixir potions you get. So let's see. As for the build itself, I am just utilizing one of the more popular builds on my website, QuestWiki, GG for Farever. So I think the top one is just Liam H's. So just using a spin-off of it with the greatswords. Yep. Let's go ahead and get into it. Here's the gear. As for the towns, this is what I'm currently using. Generally speaking, I just stick with the majority of them for the far left tree, just for the DPS. Middle is kind of like sustained defense, defense cooldown, and then far right is more so for sustain, but let's see what we can do. I've not played in a minute, but I shouldn't be too rusty. I could potentially just stay and not actually go to the little mine carts in the back to DPS the mini bosses that delete the shield, but this should be fine too. So overall the greatsword's pretty good. I did forget to mention that the greatsword is currently at max level, so pretty big investment. Honestly though, I wouldn't say it's super helpful past a certain point, but it does not hurt to have more DPS, and that's funny because the boss is already down to 74% health, so a little bit rusty, but I'll just get some controller inputs, hopefully just click buttons and talk my way through this. So yeah, as far as any advice, I mean, essentially the main thing to look out for is just the flame ring DPS, because if you're not careful and don't jump it correctly, it can DPS you down, especially because he, you know, does summon other mobs. So the flame ring DPS plus the additional summons that he does, generally speaking, will take off a pretty good chunk of your health. So yeah, I will say what's funny is that I have not done this in a minute, but at this point this is pretty much just muscle memory, so not too shabby. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's usually helpful to pick up these mobs off to the side, just because you don't want them stacking up on you for whatever reason. You never know if you're gonna get lucky and get a really good drop, and you just ironically get dropped by one of the mobs, so no pun intended, but gotta let out some unintentional humor every now and then. So yeah, this is just the attack pattern. Essentially you get 4 rings that come out. Let's see. I like this greatsword because you can do the Hulk smash weapon skill with your RT. Well, I guess my controller in the far right area, but I think it's going to be, I guess, more interesting if I just do it live for each run back to back instead of splicing the video. I mean, I think quality-wise, splicing the video probably better, but we don't go for quality here, we just go for quantity, am I right? 2 subscribers? No, it's actually great that I do have 2 subs. That is 2 more than I started with, and I will consider that a milestone. Yeah, if there's one mob left, now obviously in the background notice that each mob does have a little wind-up bar at the bottom, but I think sometimes if they go too far back, they're actually unable to go through with the animation. The one in the back, though, is pretty consistent at hitting me, so... Oh, whoops, I forgot that I already took care of the mini ads for the shield. Let me just back up here for a second and potion up, as I want to be mindful about my health. Obviously, I do have some sustain, essentially just by keeping damage going at all times, whether it's by the cheese moon skill, but we also want to be mindful that I'm a little bit rusty, and the boss is actually at 1% health. I did not realize that. That's kind of comedic, but not really, I guess. Alright, first drop. Let's see what we get. Okay. That is a lot better than what I expected. And yes, I'm gonna be the one person that does not get every single drop. I think at one point I tried to get every single material drop, but I think I just reached a certain moment where I'm just like, this is taking a little bit too much time, but... Alright, I guess this is round 2. I could do the typical YouTuber pause where I just cut it out and do a little introduction, but I think someone did want a group, but unfortunately I'm sort of just trying to see what the drops are like. Do not want to share anything. And you know what? Just as I said that, I actually realized that I do have the weapon boost in the bottom right-hand status bar. Left, dang it. Forgot that I actually do have that. Oh well. It essentially increases the physical mastery, but honestly, I'm usually able to do just fine without it. I just wanted to try it out of curiosity, but I forgot that it actually carries over from the previous time you log in. That's interesting. Might have to make a note about that, even though my editing skills are probably in the negatives. I don't know if that's possible, but I guess it is for people like me who are named generically generic gaming. Yeah. Just realized these are called Snack of Ratsar. That's kind of funny, kind of sad though, because they're fuel for his damage, but that's the only purpose they have in this game. Nice. Alright, let's dash over here and then get a little cheese moon proc. And I just shifted my microphone accidentally. I have a boom stand. That was not my intention. Come back, microphone. There we go. Yeah, honestly, the thing about the Greatsword that's rather interesting is, even if it's not best in slot, it is very fun to use and kind of satisfying to do the dramatic smash effect there, but usually it's better when you're taking out multiple mobs, but let's go ahead and, oh, you know what? I don't know if I can actually get over here, can I? Let's see. Alright, who am I kidding? I'm a warrior class, of course I can. I could do this blindfolded. Let's see. I might pop a berserk here. We'll see. I'll just go ahead and proc the top one for now, just to get a little heal. Yeah, let's just do some damage here and worry about the mobs in a second. I think with a berserk, I'm just gonna block them here, but with the berserk proc, should be fine. The actual issue here isn't even the damage from the boss, it's just the mob spamming all at once. I think that kind of hurts a little bit more, but... we should be good, but let's be a little bit careful and back up. I don't want to jinx myself here. Alright, we're good. Alright, cool. So that is the second run as per usual. Not gonna pick up the materials. Quick spin for, I guess, good luck. Alright, interact button, what you got for me? And yep, there we go. Those are the expected drops. Blue items, here we go. Excuse me. Again, I would edit that out, but editing, not my strength. Not my weakness, just not really focusing on it. Because remember, we're pushing for quality. Wait, no, quantity, not quality. There we go. Alright, let's do the third run. It's a little bit self-defeating when the dash skill's not working. I want to get over there a little faster. I'll pop a berserk and just for the fun of it, see if we can maybe shave off some extra DPS before it goes into its shield bubble thing, but honestly, probably not gonna be the best of timing. Usually you want to proc the Berserk in a way where you can kind of maximize value, so that would mean like more mobs or just essentially stretching out as much damage as you can instead of just focusing on the King Ratsar. Let's go ahead. Take down the snack. It's a weird thing to, I guess, say in the MMO, I don't know. Take down the snack. Makes sense on screen, but I guess without context, not really the best. Yeah, I've done this so many times at this point that I think to an extent I'm actually not really, like, I wouldn't even call it muscle memory. I think that I'm just at this point, like, just zoned out to my boring commentary and just somehow able to multitask well enough, not because of any skill whatsoever. Well, actually, you know what, that might be muscle memory. I think it's just, Farever. Just a Farever thing, I don't know. I like how I single-handedly managed to dash in all the wrong places just then. That's great. Oh, I got lucky. It didn't drop the flame thing immediately. Okay. Let's just hippity-hop over this. Hopefully no one makes that a thing. Hippity-hop, that should not be a word. So with this talent skill tree, essentially, each time that I think it's crit or just some sort of a component of the warrior kit, just damage, it procs like a 30 damage shield, which does not seem great, but the reality is that if it keeps on proccing over and over again, it's sort of, I don't want to call it infinite, but it is more than the value you're getting from it, as it's just proccing over and over again. It's not, essentially there's no cooldown, so please don't nerf. Let's go ahead and, did one of the things just fall off? No, I think I was getting distracted. We need to get over here. Now I will say this fire on the ground can definitely stack, so just be a little bit mindful about your positioning. Granted, I'm relatively over-spec'd as far as just what you can have on the character, as well as the weapon investments for the actual weapon level up, so I think I should be able to DPS him down here relatively quick. So at this point I will actually take a second to pause, which I know I just don't want the mobs to do something funny and potentially ruin a good drop for me, so let's see. You know, let's just do one more spin, ulti, whatever the thing is, and then one more cheese moon proc. Okay, we should be good now. Because again, cheese moon proc with the crit and the passive and the shield overall. Good combo, spin for no reason. Let's see what we get. Hopefully something that I can clip for more potentially not bad content. Honestly, that armor piece is actually a pretty good drop, but aside from that, no thank you. I think this is the 4th run. Still feel bad for accidentally including the weapon mastery increase item. I forgot about it, but I think it should, funny enough, stop working after I finish the next, I believe, 6 runs after this, so... Alright, microphone, come back to me. And... let's do this. Honestly, I don't even know if this is entertaining, but... just curious to see what the drops would be like. Learning experience for both myself and you, the viewer, my 2 subscribers. Amazing. No, honestly though, I'm actually happy that I did get 2 subs. I was not expecting that, because I don't know if this game falls under the indie category, but the audience is definitely a work in progress, as well as it being early access, so I guess those factors combined, well, I could just maybe not be a chatterbox, even though I guess this is a commentary channel. Alright, great. Let's go to the snack on the far right. Still don't like saying that. Yeah. That wasn't like a funny, like, engaging, yeah, that was like a not really amused, yeah, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense, but... So yeah, now it's gonna switch up to the 4 rings, the 2 back-to-back, although towards the end there will be 1 extra ring. Those were 3 rings, not 4. Alright, let's see if I can quickly bob and weave here. Alright, let's go to the middle. Let me actually proc... Okay, I thought the cheese boomerang would go to them on the side, but not block that for... hopefully some value, but let's see. Alright. So now it's going to drop 4 rings. Here we go. Honestly, though, if you're a new player, this can definitely be a little bit intimidating, as the DPS does stack back-to-back, and so... Not saying rogue class, but as rogue was my first class, this boss was a little bit painful, as you need the daggers from this boss, but... Clearing the boss as a rogue is not easy, hence the weird lack of repeatability for any good drops, just because you keep dying as a rogue. Alright, I actually got a little bit lucky there and got a shield, I think. And I think one of them got dropped by the cart over there, so... That's an interesting mechanic. Very cool. Alright, so now we're gonna get 4 rings. You can't actually glide the 2 middle ones just like that, but... I'm gonna proc a Berserk. I have a rune. A rune's essentially an addition you can make to the skill. It's like an enhancement to the skill, but I got the one where I think it heals you for damage taken. And for some reason, I think I'm actually on a roll here. Actually, I shouldn't say that because I haven't actually gotten any interesting drops yet, but... okay, let's, where's the, we gotta hold back here for a second. Yeah, so this setup here is kind of a little bit tricky. Okay, because you don't want to stomp in the fire on the ground, but yeah, even though it's just 3 of them, I want to say their damage increases, or I guess just something changes in which the mobs can do a little bit more damage than they should be able to. Alright, let's see what we get. Little spin for possible luck. And, okay. No complaints. Off to the 5th run. Let's see what we got. But yeah, getting the epic on the daggers is actually cool. I read somewhere the drop chance is like 15%. Maybe it's for, I guess, like the actual dungeons, but that does sound about right, given that I mostly get the blue drop. Let's go for a little spin here. I'm probably going to remake this. Maybe not necessarily the 10 runs, but I'm just going to see if I can level up my rogue. As I do enjoy rogue, but it can be a little bit of a struggle. But yeah, if you know how to play rogue, you can definitely get some good damage sequences or just DPS inputs, whatever. It's just, you have to be a little bit maybe not frame perfect, but one wrong block at a bad time can really set you back more than you would like to. And I will say leveling up, though, is not fun, because you need good armor. For level 10 to, 5, it's not like you're getting any decent armor drops. Like, you get some blue stuff, like the fins of Leviathan, whatever, every now and then, but, unless you get, like, a thorn lace or a toothpick drop from one of the overworld chests, yeah, rogue is not gonna be super... I will say rogue can be rewarding to an extent, but once you learn the mechanics, if you essentially have 2 players, one of them is using like the warrior class and someone else is using rogue, and both of them are getting their blocks on time, and just the overall mechanics of like dodging, then yeah, you're gonna sort of notice I had to cancel the spin, but you're gonna notice the difference anyway. One more. Okay, I'll pop up a Berserk here. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know why I made the breathing effect there. I guess it's me trying to focus, but I think that was a bit distracting, so... Maybe helpful for me, but not for video recording purposes. Alright, let's get a little spin here. Okay, they're spreading out. It's a little annoying. Let's see. Thank you, auto attack, for jumping from target to target. Oops. Okay. Cheese Moon. I think this should be the 5th run, but yeah, I probably should have been keeping track. Anyway, let's see. Alright, we're getting... Alright, so this is a little bit of an annoying setup here. We should be fine. I say annoying because they're all bunching up, and they're leaving those little flame trails on the ground, so it's kind of annoying, but... Although me chatterboxing it up, we got the boss down to 3% health, so... we should be good, but I am, I was about to step back to pop a potion on the right keypad, but let's see. Interact button, I miss you, not really, but maybe a legendary dagger drop, that would be cool. Okay. Starting to see a repeating theme here, and it's not epic or gold items, but you know what? At least we are getting drops, because the game literally has to drop something, so bare minimum, good enough for me. I think this is run number 6. I should have probably run out of things to talk about by now, but I guess that's one of the benefits when you're shooting for quantity over quality content. Sensational. Hello. I kind of feel bad because he's just always in here, you know? You kind of like take him out back to back, but he never actually leaves the, like, I know it's like a reset, but it's kind of a sad reality for a king. Also, you know what's interesting? You actually get the same sword that he has, because this spin mechanic is the same, I don't know. Now, if I could use the flame AoE, like ring mechanic that he does, that would be cool, but that would probably be a little broken. Anyway, here we go. I like how he poses on the ground, too, that's, oh, you know what? He has a shield? Oh, he's actually carrying... Is he carrying that with, one arm? Or is he dual-wielding it? Like, oh, interesting. Huh. Yeah, I just saw that. Alright, well, respect for, King Ratsar. Unless it's like one of those accessory shields that you keep on your arm, I guess, for the aesthetic, but it doesn't actually have any use. Oh, well. Nope, he's literally holding it with, he's holding a great sword with, one arm. Amazing. Nice lore for the game, for sure. Okay. Let's dash into you very quickly. Go for the cheese boomerang skill. Oh. It's kind of funny because you, maybe not funny, but like not like funny haha, but just like whatever, lol. When you actually like block the startup for the fire AoE, but it doesn't really block the attack, just like the swing. I don't know. Interesting. Pop a berserk. Let's see. Definitely how the game is intended to be played for sure. Alright, let's see. Can we maybe do something here? I'm trying to... Yeah, this is a really bad setup. Like, getting stuck here with these guys that can just, like, spam attacks while you're in the middle of them. Yeah, no thank you, which is why I'm gonna go back in the middle. Gotta grind for that short content somewhere, am I right? YouTube Shorts? Yeah. Okay, I will say one thing, this is not that funny, but, like, when you're recording YouTube videos, obviously, like, this is going to a platform, which is YouTube, but you're essentially just talking to yourself until the video actually goes anywhere, which... Because, I mean, when it's uploaded, yeah, like, people are listening to it, but the actual process is you speaking to yourself, so that's interesting. Oops. Need to lock in here. Forgot that I'm still, supposed to be this knowledgeable player that's not actually knowledgeable, but still has cool gear. More like unlimited playtime, although not really, but I wish I had unlimited playtime. And, okay. Should be it for, I believe, run number 6, but might do like an overlay edit just to update the number for the run over what I just said. And is that legendary? Oh, dang. Okay, that's actually really interesting, because I already have a gold weapon, but I don't think, unless they change the drop rate. Huh. Well, I guess now you can see what the side-by-side is for the upgrade. So essentially the base is minus 23 for vitality, minus 17 for strength, and then minus 21 for critical. So I guess that's good to know. Yeah, I was not expecting that. Okay, well. Huh. I wish I could use that on a different class, but I guess this makes for the ideal video. Okay, well. Huh. Yeah, no, I think, like, statistically, the drop for that is very low. And me recording is also making it a little bit more interesting for the drop, but whatever. Yeah, I don't really know what, if I should keep doing this at this point, but I think I'll just do 2 more after this one. I will say an interesting feature would be if you could maybe repurpose it. So, for example, maybe for Rogue, you can essentially, like, dual wield it. Or I guess, sort of like a make an edit to the class itself, if that makes sense, the class item, but that's the least of the things to update. Priorities optimization, I believe, but overall, great game. Alright, looking good. Looking very Ratsar out here, whatever that means. You know, it's a great video concept when you're already running out of actual words to say, so you're essentially just saying King Ratsar's name in the verb tense. See if I can maybe think of something funny to do at the end. Maybe like dashing into, well, I shouldn't say funny, haha, but like maybe dashing into the flame ring or something. I don't know, the last run, but anywho, let's go for the AoE Hulk smash. Alright, got a nice little double block. Can I possibly pick you off? Come on, let me get you. Alright. Don't want to fall off, because you can literally dash off to the side, so I'm not... Alright, was trying to do a little mid-air block there, but let's see. Let me dash over here, get 1 hit. So Cheese Moon doing some of that damage over time. Alright. Let's be mindful of the mob wind-up attack. I don't think I dodged that, but pop the Berserk, so I can take some damage here, but why are these two hitting so hard? Wait a second. What the heck? Why are these two hitting so hard? Huh. Weird. Did I I might have changed the Berserk rune. Interesting. Am I lagging? What's going on? Oh, cancel that. Nope. Ah! No! Please! Stop it! Alright, y'all need to stop. Whoa. Yeah, something weird is happening. I think partially it's me changing the rune, but like the actual in-game movement is feeling a little bit sluggish. I'm trying to... Is it me or is it the... I don't know. Let's go ahead and heal up here, not take damage, heal up. Okay, we should be fine. Okay, so their wind-ups are coming in. We should be good. Yeah, I mean, like, we'll see. Yeah, I don't know why this round's been so difficult so far. Not like sometimes it's gonna happen, but that was interesting. Okay, if I get a second legendary drop here, that's gonna be, even an epic, that's gonna be kind of interesting. Hopefully I don't. Okay, yeah, because if I got something high tier from that, that would have been a little bit suspicious, even for me, even though, I don't know, I just don't like the idea of using up all my luck in one run, or I guess these back-to-back runs, whatever. One run like the video concept, but the actual runs should be 9 to 10. So at this point, just gonna do 2 more. Definitely not, because I need to make sure that I can put the number 10 in the title for the number of runs instead of 9, but who am I kidding? We need that sweet, sweet content, and by we, I just mean me. Maybe potential thumbnail here. Let me see. Or maybe a little thumbnail. Let me see. Thumbnail action, maybe? Possibly. Let's see. Alright, there we go. That's just not how that works, but you gotta do what you gotta do as a Farever content creator. Alright. I'm doing a lot of damage to him, interesting. I guess he didn't want to drop the wind up here until the last second. Alright, let's... Oh, I thought for a second he got the power up. I'd be fine, but the power up makes the flame ring pretty annoying, but I guess in theory if your DPS is great, you can just shred him before he does anything damage-wise. Alright, let's see. I might try to get some Rift gameplay if the Rift session's not super laggy or just the server's okay, but... Alright, let's take these 2 out. Nope. I did the thing again where I'm just like dashing into the air and just not the enemy. Alright, it should be it. Alright. Alright, let's go for a little up-and-close personal hop here for no apparent reason. Great. I think you should go into charge-up mode here. If not, at least now you will, but maybe not. Okay. I think 39%? Yeah. I think it's like 79% and 39% for the actual instances in which the king over here will do this charge beam Pokemon type wind up. When you use up too much of your energy, you gotta go down on one knee sometimes. Respect. What if King Ratsar was the MMO player we wanted to become along the way, if that makes sense? I don't know. Let's see. I have to remember that I also need to be a little... So this right here is probably one of the bad cases. Like, so that you have the fire pools around, then you have these guys jumping up on you. So if I was not spec'd out here as a warrior, this could be a little bit tricky. I would survive, but like in this case, for example, disengaging and going to the corner also works. I mean, you have to remember that as long as you don't do something very strange to just get out of the entire room, the boss is not going to reset on you, so that's kind of nice. Now, for the overworld bosses, that's a little bit different, but for the actual cave dungeon type instances, yeah, no, you're good. So yeah, they're swarming me a little bit. I will say what's a little bit fortunate is that their wind-up times are all different, so none of them are hitting me at the same time, but they're also pummeling me, so I'm not actually able to block them all at once, as they're essentially lining up their attacks one after the other. But we got the dub nonetheless. Alright, and let's do one more. I could probably just end the recording here and make it seem like I'm still doing it live by just editing the empty audio in between clips, but I'm not going to do that. Alright, let's if I can just end on getting an epic drop, or just the very low drop chance of getting a random piece of gear from a different dungeon. For example, I've gotten Cheese Moon here. That would be really really swell overall, just to get maybe a more interesting drop, even though I have gotten a legendary Judgment Axe. But I had to run this boss so many times on Rogue for legendary daggers that it didn't make me want to quit Rogue, but I think it's partially why I wanted a different class. It wasn't as though I was intentionally trying to find a broken class. I was more like trying to find a class that just is not Rogue, which I guess speaks to the, not the mechanics of Rogue, but just the current, I guess, like, meta prioritization. But if you use Toothpick with, like, Thorn Lace, you're fine on Rogue, but it's just, you have to build your Rogue in a very particular way. So while there are a lot of items you can use, you need to essentially, like, you can work around not necessarily investing in sustain on the skill tree by using Thorn Lace or proccing some sort of a heal mechanic on the actual weapon slots for the weapon skill. I think it's just like the Fins of Leviathan and then just your Thorn Lace. But the thing is that you have to build your Rogue in a way where you have to take into account for survivability. Whereas with Warrior, it's like, even if you're not doing the most perfect weapon setup, you can just get away with the particular class skills and just Cheese Moon, essentially. And you can use Cheese Moon on Rogue too, but I think the damage over time, like the burst, is a little bit... I will say the overall damage potential on Rogue is higher. There's also currently a bug going around with the daggers, but bottom line, if played correctly, yeah, you think Rogue at one point did have the highest damage output, glitch or no glitch for any weapons, but you have to essentially put in a lot of effort, whereas with, like, Warrior, you can get away with slipping up a little bit, but with Rogue, I mean, if you don't dodge these fire rings, for example, yeah, no, you're gonna get smoked by the mobs. So, let's see here, need to wrap this up before more mobs come in via minecart. I will say this kind of it's kind of badass though that they arrive with the minecart. It's kind of cool. Alright, let's block. Oh, that was good. Block. Block again. Okay. Oh, actually, I don't like this. Alright, this is the final drop. Let's get some spins. A couple of interact button cancels. Hide in the chest. And then we're gonna dash back to it. Whoosh. What do we got? What do we got? And alright, that works for me. Take care. Triple G, third video. I guess that's one more video than I previously had. Thanks, everyone.